What's up agents, WOOO here, and I'm back once again with another Division 2 build video, and I'm keeping with the WWE theme as it stands with the Rikishi Stink Face special build for PvE. Guys, gas, and more gas galore. You are absolutely rinsing through NPCs with your stink bombs. They are dealing some insane DPS. We're talking up to 400k damage with your stink bombs. Guys, this is the Rikishi build, PvE. Stay tuned, let's do this. Hey guys, yes, WOOO here, and I'm enjoying this for PvE. I wanted to put together a stink face build, which is all about that damage from the cloud, or that stink bomb, or that fart gas, however you like to distinguish that damage you are dealing to NPCs. I wanted to deliver something that, again, is high DPS, high crit, and crazy damage, and something you need to stay in cover because you are a little bit squishy, and this is the build I've come up with. This is a really good build for heroic content. Solo, it's so, in all honesty. In a group, it's crazy. You are the MVP. People can sit back, they can spam nades, they can spam explosive damage, seekers, high bleed, all that jazz. They can do that and do that at will. What they can't beat is the damage you are dealing with the pestilence. It is rocking. The last 5 heroic missions I have rolled with this build, I have been the MVP. Simple as that. So this build works, and it works really well for heroic missions in a group. I like this. You've got a good amount of damage to elites. You have really high damage from your pestilence, and that stink bomb damage is crazy. Guys, enough me jibber jabbering on about this. Let's look at the build. Guys, yes, here it is. This is my stink face build for PvE. First and foremost, I want to show you the specialization I am rolling with today. It is the Gunner specialization. I'm utilizing this because I want a few tricks up my sleeve whilst rolling with this particular build. Now, the first thing is I'd like that armor on kill. So you will kill a lot of enemies with this build. You will be the killing machine with this build. So you need some kind of sustain on this build because you have no healing. It's all about dealing damage with your weapons and then gaining armor back. So with this, again, this particular talent Incessant, you are getting 10% armor back on kill. Also, as you're rolling with the Pestilence, you need this talent, which is the Coupler. Coupler? Coupler, whichever way you want to pronounce this. Every third reload is 50% faster. You know with this, you are rinsing through your bullets, and once you get to 0, you don't reload. It's a 5+ second, 5 seconds plus reload time on the Pestilence, which is a pain in the ass. The only kind of complaint I have with the Pestilence. But again, you have to have some kind of factor to dumb it down a little bit, so I get it. Anyway, so you have this 50% reload after the third time. So that 5.5 second will be 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds. Happy days. I like this. Again, that means I can deal more damage or get back in the fight and faster. Also this, you are squishy on this build, guys. You will be squishy. So your armor kits repair 100% of armor and grant 50% bonus armor for 10 seconds. So you will get an extra 120k armor on this build for 10 seconds. That's crazy. I like that, and I need that on my setup because I'm a bit squishy. Okay, what else do we have? Generate 10% total ammo capacity every 60 seconds. Party members recover 5%. Rate of fire increases by 5% on kill for 5 seconds. That's nice. Again, the Pestilence, it is a low RPM LMG, so again, extra 5% does pay dividends. And your weapon handling from emplacement. That's 20% weapon handling while not moving. Need to be motionless for 1 second. This is a sit in cover, deal carnage build. So emplacement is nice for that extra 20% weapon handling. Again, you want your Pestilence to be a laser, and this helps you beam a lot more on this build. So the Gunner, in my opinion, is the go-to Specialization on this build. Now guys, let's take a look at the build. Okay, so let's just choose that side on firstly. Let's just switch that to the gunner one. Okay, cool. This is the build. It is gunner specialization. We've gone through that. We're looking at 12 offensive stats, 3 defensive stats, and 2 utility on the build. Now, the only 2 utility I have, and that feels dirty for me. It feels a bit horrible, in all fairness. I do feel quite filthy, running with such low skill power, 186. Now, in terms of the only utility, that is a piece of skill power on my gloves and a utility mod on my backpack. It is what it is. You know, in an ideal world, I would like that to be more armor, but it's not, so it is what it is. I fare so well with this build. Now, I'm rolling the Pestilence, of course. That is my LMG of choice. My primary damage is 31k. My RPM is 605, and we know that will increase by increments of 5% given the specialization talents. My armor is 237k, my health is 36.3k, and my skill power, again, 162 for Seekers, 186 for the drone, which is, in all honesty, diddly squat. Now, the mask is Murakami Industries. You don't have to use this, you use whatever you want. This is the best mask that I have for this setup. And that's because I have health, damage to elites of 47%. I'd like a little bit more. We know we can get an extra 7-8% through targeted loot. Health and hard hitting, 25% damage to elites. So hard hitting needs to be someone on the build. That's a non-negotiable. And damage to elites does help on the mask immensely for PvE. Now the chest piece is the pristine example perfect piece. Now with this, it's a rolly hold-in, so you're going to get that 10% accuracy. The 2 attributes on this are very nice attributes, might I add. 15% weapon damage and 17.5% critical hit chance. The talent is perfect vigilance. Gain 30% weapon damage, taking damage disables his buff for 4 seconds, and you need 7 or more offensive stats to unlock this talent. Guys, with this, a lot of people say, yeah, take damage, then you're going to lose that 30%. That's true, but you know in a group scenario, there's 4, and you know you sit in cover strategically. Once you do start to take some damage, you'll need to reload your weapon. Reload your weapon, that's a good 5 seconds. By that time, the NPCs will focus other allies, other teammates. So with that, you're going to get that buff back again. So that 4-second period. So you use this strategically, you'll be in a good place with this build. There are other options, Berserk maybe, but just remember your health is so low, so it's not something I would recommend on this build. There's different options potentially, but I like perfect vigilance on this. I like the extra 30% weapon damage, and again, it procs a lot of the time once I'm using this build. Now the mods, it's weapon damage with pistol damage, LMG of 5% damage. I like that. That's essential. And the defensive mod is armor, explosive resistance, and total armor. Now, the holster's Wyvern wear, which is critical damage and drone skill power. That's why the drone skill power is a little bit higher. The attribute is 13.5% critical hit chance, and the talent is critical, 15% critical hit damage. You have the option with this, you could roll with more crit through surgical. You could roll with Devastating for the extra 5% weapon damage, which will increase your base damage to 32k. I said, but I found I'm getting more damage overall over time with critical because the extra 15% critical damage. Once a crit on this build is about 115k. So non-crits are about 77k. What I found is changing this to Devastating. I'm losing that 15%, so my crits are more so about 104k. However, my base damage goes up to about 80k. But over time, I'm getting more damage through critical. Guys, it is up to you how you roll. My builds are templates. Utilize them how you so wish and make them better. That makes me happy. And again, let me know in the comment section how you're utilizing this kind of build. The mod is weapon damage and that 5% LMG damage. Now onto the holster. The knee pads. We've done the holster, the knee pads. Now I like this pair of knee pads. It suits this build perfectly. So it's Wyvern wear again, so it's the 2-piece. 8.5% critical hit chance, 8.5, that's nice. Composure, while in cover, grants 10% total weapon damage. Guys, 10%, and then you've got Perfect Vigilance. Once they're procced together, there's 40%, and the build damage don't stop there. Now, weapon damage, more 5% LMG damage. The gloves are the Contractor's gloves. Now, I'm using these because of how I've got it set up. I need Petrov somewhere on the build. This is the best Petrov piece that I have because, one, it's the name pair of gloves, and two, is at 12% LMG damage. That is just perfect on this, and that gives me that 22% overall damage on this setup. 4% AR damage and 102 skill power. I have the talent Perfect Terminate. We know I've only got 2 skill stats or utility stats. I need 5. So I'm not utilising this talent, but I don't really need to, in all honesty. This is the best pair of gloves that I have. If you have a better pair of gloves that suit the build more so, then by all means use those. For me, this is the best that I have. And it still rocks. Anyway, the Strategic Alignment Backpack, which is yet another perfect piece. It's the China Industries Corporation, which is 10% explosive damage, and that helps nicely on this build. 7% critical hit chance, armor, and weapon damage of 11%. Now, the talents are Perfect Spark. Damaging enemies with skills or explosives grant plus 20% weapon damage for 15 seconds. Again, my skill power is low, so how often can I proc this talent? Now, if you choose one particular skill, you will have this talent up for a long, long time. And again, the longer you have it up, the more damage that you'll do. So guys, Perfect Spark on a DPS build does work and can be active a lot of the time. You just have to choose the right skill, and we'll go through that shortly. Harden for that 15% total armor, or extra armor on the build. Now, the skill power is grenade damage and explosives damage, and I'm using that again because I want to buff up my Seekers as much as I can. 3.5% does go a little bit away, and also the 10% from the China Industries Corporation backpack. Now look at the skills. The skills are, again, the Cluster Seeker Mine. Again, the damage, don't worry too much about this. It is what it is. I have no problems with this. My damage is 186k. Don't mind. Yeah, whatever. Not fussed with this at all. The drive slot, yeah. The targeting slot, part payload slot, yeah. None of them are active because my skill power is so minimal. So it is what it is. But I'm using this to do a little bit of damage in PvE. Now, my secondary skill is the Striker Drone, which is integral to the build. This is my first choice skill damage option on the build because this will proc that talent a lot of the time. Because again, this Striker Drone is just chipping away at NPCs, and you can fluctuate between different NPCs when you wish. You don't have much health on this. You don't have much duration. You said 300 seconds, but that's not true. Guys, this is a good option to have. Just to let you know, this is, in my opinion, the go-to because it will continually buff Perfect Spark and make sure it's active for longer. Now the weapons, the primary choice is the Pestilence Exotic LMG, 31k base damage. The RPM is 605, which is increased by increments of 5% through the gunner spec. Bit of accuracy, bit of stability, yeah, we know that. Plague of the Outcast, that's the talent. After hitting the same enemy 5 times, that enemy is inflicted with Plague of the Outcast for 10 seconds. Whenever an enemy with Plague of the Outcast is killed, they leave a toxic cloud. Oh, sorry, let's just retract that. They leave a stink face cloud for 5 seconds that deals 1000% weapon damage per second to anyone inside and inflicts them with pestilence. Again, at a choke point, a spawn point, MVP. People will go around giving you high fives because this will rinse through NPCs. Again, like butter, due to the sheer carnage this stink face cloud will do. It's crazy. Pestilence. This debuff reduces healing received by 50% for 10 seconds. Whenever an enemy with Pestilence will be down, they instead instantly killed. The debuff is removed if the enemy is repaired to full armor. And finally, the holster talent is Outcast Resilience. While holstered, gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds whenever you're affected by blind, bleed, or burning. Now the mods, rate of fire, weapon handling, and stability. I would love damage deletes on there, but again, these are fixed mods, these can't change. Now the underbarrel, again, that 20% weapon handling does sit quite nicely with, again, one of the gunner talents on the specialization, which is that 20% weapon handling when you're in cover, and that's really nice because you're going to get that 40% weapon handling, and that's a good trait to have on this setup. The secondary weapon is a Pyromaniac. You use whatever you so desire on this. I'm using this because I like this in PvE, and that is stop, drop, and roll. While equipped, rolling removes burning, bleed, and poison status effects can occur once every 60 seconds. Again, we know NPCs will throw every Tom, Dick, and Harry at you, every type of different status effects. So this helps from time to time. Again, from you just roll, get out of the way, and it removes the status effects. So yes, guys, for me that helps, given I have no hazard protection and not a lot of armor on the build at all. And the mods, as we can see, accuracy, rounds, critical chance, and damage to elites. And again, the gunner specialization P320X compact. I'm using that just because it has 2 holster talents. They are protected reload. While equipped, this weapon grants 10% bonus armor while reloading. So that 240k that I have goes up, 237k to be exact. It will go up by 23.7k whilst I'm reloading. And that's for 5 seconds for twice of the time out of 3. The other time it'll be just a little bit less. So that extra armor does pay dividends on this build. It gives me a little bit more armor, a bit more survivability. And then greased, while holstered, weapon swap speed is increased by 10%. And the mods, damage to elites, rounds, flashlight, and damage to elites. That's the setup. Let's take a look at the stats, see how strong this build is. 31,000 weapon damage. Again, this could be higher with Devastating somewhere on the build. 46.5% critical hit chance. 47% critical hit damage. 65% headshot damage. A range of 35 meters. The reload time, yes, we said earlier, 5.5 seconds. Again, the third reload will halve that. Some accuracy and stability. Weapon handling 20%. We know that will go to 40% with a gunner spec. Now, in terms of my all weapons damage bonus is 28.5%. Again, get Devastating on there. That'll be boosted by 5%. My LMG damage bonus is 52%. So that's a nice, healthy, what's that, guys? Is that, say, 80%, just over? All overall weapon damage. That's nice. My damage to elites is 72%. I'd love this to be a little bit higher on the mask. If I get some more damage to elites, about another 5-6%, this will be even stronger. Explosive damage 13.5%. Gives my Seekers a little bit of a tickle. And we know what gear and weapon talents we have. We have 23,705 armor on kill. That's nice, and that's helpful. It gives me a little bit of, again, sustain on this build, given you are dealing a lot of damage from your primary weapon. So this will help more than you know. And explosive resistance is 3.64%. And as you can see, there's no skill haste. There's no nothing skill-wise on this build. There's no hazard protection. It's all about dealing insane damage in cover, proccing those buffs of perfect vigilance, perfect spark, composure. And guys, this is a fun build for PvE. If you're not fussed in terms of rolling Seekers, you don't want a skill build for heroics. You want something that's powerful, that's strong, and that will hit very, very hard. This could be the build for you for PvE. And again, in PvP, does it work? It hits hard. That's true. I've taken a few players down, but you're so squishy, you're gone in seconds. You're covered in paper with this build in PvP. I wouldn't recommend it. But guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like, and you want to see more. Yes, more Division 2 content. Smash and bang that bloody subscribe button. Ding that bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, guys.